What's going on YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition to my DC comic book reviews. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Superman issue number 26. This one is written by Joshua Williamson. We have several artists who actually worked on this particular issue. There's some interludes in that mixed in. So in the last issue of Superman, basically we had Mercy Graves turn heel on everyone. Lex Luthor, who was trying to turn a new leaf. They unleashed kind of his robotic, synthetic, like darker version of himself or whatever, which the real Luthor basically destroyed, and Superman was pretty angry about that, and he got thrown in jail and basically took the fall for like Mercy turning heel in the process. So we also had Lois Lane lose her powers, and we got kind of like a little bit of recap, a few things that kind of went on since this run began. Like you see the stuff where he crossed over with Satana. We have some of the stuff we had with Lobo, and then we had Farm and Graph or whatever. And then we also have the whole Superman red kryptonite just kind of making him rage fueled. So they implanted that stuff in him. And we also have the emotional fallout between Lena and her father. The really interesting, some of the most interesting stuff in the issue is exploring some of that damaged relationship between a girl who was cast in the future and then like kind of sent away on an island just to kind of just like be left alone. He's like, I did it for your protection, but like she's really hurt by that stuff, really hurt by what Mercy did too. And in this issue, she kind of goes off and it looks like she's going to go and meet up with Supergirl or something. Lois had lost her powers. Now we had the stuff in, what was that absolute power thing where the powers went all haywire and wacky, and I think they're implying that she had some of her powers maybe from General Zod, and like she kind of used that up all the batteries and all, but she's kind of okay with it because, like I said, she was Lois Lane beforehand. She knew it was temporary, and she's come to accept that stuff because we got the stuff with Zod here, and he's kind of fleeing on his own in some order of like capacity. So he's going to be heading to Earth at some point. Lena goes and confronts Mercy. She's angry about the whole thing and being betrayed. Superman, cuts her slack and all that, and he's like, okay, it's over. Like, no more Supercorp stuff. I'm done with you. And Lena's really sad and takes this little bike and just kind of goes off her own way. And like I said, it looks like she's going to confront Supergirl. And then, of course, we have that interlude stuff with the Time Trapper Doomsday at the end. They're trying to, they can't kill him because it'll cause more problems for them or whatever. Superman also has a confrontation with Lex Luthor, and Luthor tells him he can find means to fix Lois and get her powers back, and if he just kind of only lets him. But there's also that rage that's been implanted within Superman. He's having issues trying to control it, and so like I said, Lex needs to kind of work with Farm and Graph to kind of like be like, okay, we got to solve this problem, and then you and I and all that can face off against each other basically to the death. So we just got to help Superman in this case. So yeah, Superman's kind of taken down a little bit, and at the very end, well, not quite taken down, he's kind of subdued a little bit, and that's when Marilyn Moon Knight shows up and it's like, Metropolis must be saved from you, Superman. So the next issue is the Man of Steel, Metropolis' most dangerous threat. Superman versus Marilyn Moon Knight, who we've seen in the pages of this so far. Also, there's a little preview for Justice League vs. Godzilla vs. Kong 2, and I gotta point something out right here. They spell Ghidorah wrong. Does nobody proofread this stuff when they're releasing this things? Like, every issue had this, it'll say, like King Ghidorah and Rodan and the master creature that lurk with the Howler have taken Ghidorah. Like, where's the H? It's right there. Why is the H there and not there? How does nobody check this proofreading stuff before this stuff goes out? Like, this is a major comic publication. How do you miss that? So, sorry. It's in all the issues this week that I've seen, but if I didn't address it now, like, I just want an excuse to. But Superman 26 still continues to be some really good stuff. The most interesting aspect to me is the complicated relationship stuff that Lena has with her father, and also the stuff with Mercy. I thought, to me, that was the most fun stuff to kind of explore in this issue. Seeing Lois just come to terms very easily, like, hey, you know what, I had powers, it was fun, but I was Lois Lane for many years, like, without any, before I was Superwoman. I can handle being without. So like, it was fun for a while, but like, I'm cool with it. If it was temporary, then cool. At least I got to experience what it was like to be Superman for a little bit of time. So I thought that was kind of cool. We have stuff with Zod coming up, and Time Trapper, and the Superman Red stuff where it's almost like Bruce Banner, like, turning into the Hulk. Like, he has to find a means to kind of control that and cure himself of this condition with the red kryptonite or whatever that makes him rage fueled. So a lot of moving pieces in this thing, but still a pretty solid issue overall. There were multiple artists that worked on this particular issue. You could see Eddie Barrows, Iber Ferreira, and Sean Isaacs, and the styles meshed well. I think for the most part, I think the interludes were where things were a little bit different, but still pretty solid stuff. You can see here Summer of Superman kicking off with all that stuff. There's a lot of different Superman stuff going on right now. I think we're in pretty good hands when it comes to Superman at the moment. Like I said, I'm liking what Williamson's doing with the title, and I've been fairly positive on it so far. It's some of the best stuff he's done at DC. And the stuff with Marilyn Moon Knight at the end, we'll see which direction that goes in, because that's the big cliffhanger ending. And I'm really interested to see what they do with Lena Luthor. Like, is she just going to go hang out with Supergirl? Is she going to confront some of the other members of the DC universe? I'd be interested to see that. Like, how does Lena interact with other characters? I would have liked to have seen her interact with John Kent too, because you have the kids of, like, you know, some of the biggest rivals in comics, like between Superman and Lex Luthor. Wouldn't that have been interesting? But nah, John's off in his really crappy book somewhere. And, you know, I noticed that Williamson's using all these other Superman characters, but not using John Kent at all. Goes to show that, like, he's like, I don't know if I can save this one or something. I don't know if that's the case, or maybe some other writers just have creative control over John right now, and, like, you know, doesn't want to use him in this. But it is kind of a shame. Like, I wish John was written well in a book like this, but I doubt that'll be the case. We'll see anything like that. So, but anyways, what did you all think of Superman issue number 26? I thought it was pretty solid stuff. Let me know in the comment section down below. Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for more content, hit the bell for notifications, all other fun stuff. I got 2 more comic book reviews, and I'm just going to release them all today. And it's a great feeling, because I just want to be all caught up with my comic book reviews. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to get them all out today. So kudos for that. All right, well, that's all I have to say. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.